Today on the Rockbridge Report, local schools are stepping up security measures as debates on guns and campus safety continue nationwide.
We'll have reporter Paige Williams in the studio to tell us about how parents can help struggling teenagers. And we'll have an update on what a popular Lexington music video is doing to get ready for its spring season.
Something about how nice last weekend's weather was makes today's cold winds a little harsher, and it doesn't look like it's letting up before the weekend. I'll have your weather updates next.
All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Parker Butler.
And I'm Allie Chebahar. Breaking news from the White House. President Trump just announced tariffs of 25% on foreign steel and 10% on aluminum, confirming worldwide anticipation of the controversial trade policy. 11 Pacific Rim countries signed a sweeping free trade agreement in Chile today as a show of distaste for the president's move. CNN's John Lawrence has more on the policies.
President Trump's plan to place new tariffs on imported steel and aluminum has sparked a debate. Some are fully behind the decision.
Ecstatic is probably the best word for it. We've been waiting for this for so long.
While others are less than pleased.
It will put thousands of European jobs in jeopardy, and it has to be met by a firm and proportionate response.
President Trump says the measures are needed to balance global trade deficits and that they'll be done in a fair fashion.
We'll do it in a very loving way. It'll be a loving way. They'll like us better, and they will respect us much more.
One person that didn't love this idea? The president's former chief economic advisor. Gary Cohn resigned this week in the wake of his disagreement with the plan. And some critics say the tariffs will benefit foreign oil producers.
We're already seeing the effects of it. So our steel costs from some of our providers are already up about 20% since last Thursday.
Both company and union officials are expecting a higher demand for steel in the United States because of the increased tariffs on imported steel.
We have a long way to go, but this is such an important start to getting families, hardworking families, back to work.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Wall Street is still wary after White House Chief Economic Advisor Gary Cohn parted ways with the Trump administration this week over its isolationist trade policy. Markets wavered following Cohn's announcement, and Trump is facing criticism for high staff turnover. Cohn is just the latest of many White House staff members and advisors to leave the administration.
One of the problems here is the White House is getting hollowed out, and the number of people capable of doing things, doing real things, whether you agree or disagree ideologically, is getting smaller and smaller, and they seem unable to recruit new people to take these jobs.
The Trump administration's lawsuit challenging California's efforts to protect undocumented immigrants is the latest warning shot fired at so-called sanctuary cities nationwide. Attorney General Jeff Sessions took his immigration battle to Sacramento yesterday, where he blasted sanctuary cities' supporters as, in his words, extremists.
It cannot be the policy of a great nation to up and reward those who unlawfully enter its country with legal status, Social Security, welfare, food stamps, work permits, and so forth.
Protesters took to the streets of California's capital to decry Sessions' statements. California's Governor Jerry Brown and State Attorney General Javier Becerra, both Democrats, called Sessions' visit and the lawsuit a political stunt. They denied wanting to give immigrants free rein to enter the country illegally. Criticism of the lawsuit also came from leaders of sanctuary cities across the country.
Teacher unions are gaining strength nationwide following a decision by West Virginia lawmakers earlier this week to end a 9-day teachers' strike with a promised 5% pay raise. The success of the strike has prompted action in Oklahoma, where teachers have detailed plans for statewide school closures if the state legislature does not raise teacher salaries by April 1st. Arizona teachers are also considering walkouts.
South Korean officials are set to brief the White House today on the outcome of their fact-finding meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The meeting led to plans for an April summit when Kim will meet South Korea's president at the demilitarized zone, separating the two countries. While in the U.S., The South Korean delegation will meet with National Security Advisor Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster and other senior government officials.
Obviously, we're cautiously optimistic that there's some forward progress here, but we've been optimistic before, so we're going to have to watch actions and see if they match words.
All eyes are now on Republican Governor Rick Scott to see if he'll sign the Florida legislature's narrowly approved response to last month's high school massacre. Scott has yet to say if he'll sign the gun control bill. It would require a 3-day waiting period for firearm purchases, raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21, and ban bump stocks. A more controversial provision of the bill would allow some trained teachers and school staff to carry firearms on campuses, which Scott has consistently stated his opposition to.
I'm going to read the bill, and I'm going to talk to parents. It's horrible what happened to the 17 families that lost their loved ones. I can't imagine it happened to them. I don't want it to happen again.
Local schools are changing their security policies in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting. We now go live to Emma Durr at Rockbridge County High School to hear more. Emma?
Stronger locks, updated security systems, more cops. These are just a few of the new measures local schools are considering to make their students feel safer. Rockbridge County Superintendent Philip Thompson says the county schools will be installing a new lock system called Night Lock Lockdown by the end of the summer. This aluminum device would barricade the door during an emergency.
It's a horrible time to try and ask kids to come to school and they're worried about coming to school and they're worried about their safety.
Thompson says they are discussing the possibility of stationing a police officer at the school.
The goal would certainly be to have a resource officer at all of our schools. And that's one of the other options we're looking at. If we can't have one at all of our elementary schools, can we have one full-time that rotates to the 4 elementary schools?
Unlike Lexington City schools, including Waddell Elementary, Rockbridge County Public Schools do not currently have a buzz-in system. Thompson says the school board is discussing implementing one. Lexington parent Paige Williams says that she will be following this issue closely.
Because that is the first line of defense. You just don't get to let them get in the building.
But Williams says she feels very comfortable with the security of Lexington City schools, one of which her daughter currently attends. Lexington Superintendent Scott Jeffries says they are confident in the school's comprehensive crisis management plan.
Single point of entry, a buzz-in system, security cameras. We have practiced our crisis drills per state regulations and beyond that.
Jeffries says the school's strongest asset is good communication across the administration, counselors, teachers, parents, and students.
Our teachers are so vigilant within their classroom, and our class sizes are such that they know their kids like the back of their hand 2 weeks into school.
From now on, Williams says she will follow the school's new security measures closely.
I hope that the city and the county are very willing to provide the funding that is necessary, because I feel like they will have the support from the parents they need.
And county superintendents say that they will be pursuing more funding to put more police officers in their schools. Live for the Rockbridge Report, I'm Emma Durr.
Next Thursday, we'll take a look at the students' perspective. Lilburn Durning Middle School students say they will join a national walkout for 17 minutes on Wednesday to honor the 17 lives lost in Parkland.
After the break, we'll have an update on upcoming infrastructure improvements that may attract new businesses to Rockbridge.
Plus, Aspen has your 5-day weather forecast. And later, we'll show you how people around the world are celebrating International Women's Day.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
It may be March, but for much of the U.S., there's no springtime in sight. For the second time in a week, a powerful nor'easter has overtaken New York, Philadelphia, and other major northeastern cities. Heavy snow, high winds, lightning, and flooding have grounded flights, wiped out power, and closed schools. Fortunately, things aren't quite as bad in Virginia. Aspen, how's our weekend forecast looking?
Well, it's definitely going to be really cold, even though it might not be as bad as those places. Let's go take a look. Here we have a live shot from Rockbridge County High School. And you can see that we have some sky that's shining through the overcast. Here we have our weather almanac, where we have a high of 42, a low of 23, and a barometric pressure of 29.79. Wind speeds are at 26 miles per hour with 40% humidity. Now we have our regional conditions, where you can see that by far Covington is the coldest with 27 degrees, and they have overcasty skies. In Stanton, Lynchburg, and in Lexington, we see 38 degrees with overcast skies. Charlottesville is the warmest with 45 degrees. Buena Vista is somewhere in between with 39 degrees, and Roanoke 40 degrees. Now we see on our radar that we have some scattered clouds throughout the region. And now we have our 5-day forecast, where we can see tomorrow and Saturday we're hovering around temperatures around the low 50s and the high 40s, with a high of 47 on Friday, and a low of 25 and a high of 51 on Saturday and a low of 28. On Sunday we're expecting some snow with a high of 39, a low of 28. Monday we're staying around the low 40s with a low of 43, or low of 25, and on Tuesday we have sunshine with a high of 41 and a low of 23. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Aspen. Rockbridge parents now have access to a new resource for handling difficult teenagers. I spoke with our social services reporter, Paige Williams, who interviewed organizers of a 10-week course called The Parent Project.
Is a class for parents to basically just learn how to better communicate with their children, especially ones that are exhibiting disruptive behavior, and just teaching them that they want the best for their kids, but they might not know how to show it.
What exactly inspired Rockbridge County to start offering the program?
It's actually a national program, and the family courts judges had been referring families to Waynesboro, which is about an hour away, so it's pretty difficult for families to get there every week. So they asked Rockbridge Area Community Services to start offering the program. And it's actually the largest court-mandated intervention strategy in the U.S., so it's a good thing that Rockbridge has this.
Well, it sounds like a very extensive program, but where exactly did it start?
It started in California, actually, with a child psychologist and a police officer. They got together and wanted to address the problem.
That's awesome. For parents who are interested in the program, can you tell us when and where it's going to be held?
It's going to be Tuesday nights from 5:30 to 9 at the Buena Vista Baptist Church.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Paige. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
At least 6 area businesses have been turned away from East Lexington in the last decade because of insufficient sewage infrastructure. But the Rockbridge County Public Service Authority is on a mission to fix that. BB&T National Bank will loan the county $2.4 million to build a new pump station near Nelson Street near Taco Bell. It will bypass the current Lexington station on Campbell Lane, which is currently at full capacity. You can dig deeper into the story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
The Virginia Department of Emergency Management recently awarded 3 Rockbridge County agencies a grant to upgrade their emergency operations plans. Officials from the county, Lexington, and Buena Vista said they plan to use the $18,000 to proactively prepare for widespread emergencies, especially flooding. The upgrade needs to be completed by October 2018, the date of Virginia's deadline for submitting new emergency plans. Emergency operation plans are required to be updated every 4 years.
Coming up, Rockbridge is taking steps to keep medication out of the wrong hands. And we have information on a free medical clinic in Buena Vista this weekend, after the break.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
When it comes to saving money,
Boss! What? Parents!
don't act like a baby.
Oh, it's like they're having their own little meeting.
This is so humiliating. Be the boss.
I'm the boss. What the? Power nap.
You were saying. And make a budget.
Let's get to work.
Need a little help?
Stacy, read back the notes.
I can't read. What's it say?
Create a personalized savings plan and get other tools and tips.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
At feedthepig.org.
The Virginia General Assembly is scheduled to adjourn on Saturday without reaching an on-time budget agreement. Republicans are split on whether to expand Medicaid in Virginia, with the GOP-led House supporting the expansion and the GOP-led Senate opposing it. Legislators will have until July to come to a delayed budget compromise before facing a state government shutdown. It's now up to Virginia Governor Ralph Northam to decide the fate of a state bill that would require tracking veterinary drugs in the wake of a national opioid addiction crisis. The state legislature approved the monitoring of pet prescriptions after a woman in Kentucky was found to have injured her dog in order to get a painkiller prescription from a veterinarian.
In Rockbridge County, health professionals and law enforcement officials are working to keep prescription medication off the streets with lock boxes and drop boxes after a recent push in Roanoke to do the same. Tate Mickelson has the story.
Rockbridge County has 2 drug take-back boxes, one at the Sheriff's Office, the other at the Buena Vista Police Department.
We're collecting several hundred pounds a year off of this. If you have elderly or people that have unfortunately suffered from terminal illness that have had prescriptions, this is just not a good idea, leaving those prescriptions around to devices of anyone that can get access to them.
CVS Pharmacy started putting up drop boxes in 2014. Rockbridge and Lexington Commonwealth's attorney Chris Billius says there's been an increase in prescription drug abuse the past 4 years.
Maybe 20% of the cases we see, 15 to 20% probably, do involve some prescription medication.
40% of opioid overdose deaths in the U.S. involve prescription opioids, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
The purpose is basically so people will properly dispose of their prescription medications instead of using alternative means like perhaps throwing them in a trash can and someone else could get to them, or leaving them in the medicine cabinet.
2 drop boxes may not be enough, especially for people who are not close to them, according to prevention specialist Rebecca Texter. She says she distributes lockboxes to families so they can keep medications safe in their own homes.
If someone is addicted, they will find a way into the box. You need to find ways to remove and protect medication.
As lockboxes are being distributed locally, the awareness of the misuse of prescription medicine is rising statewide. The Virginia Senate recently passed an opioid treatment plan for uninsured opioid addicts. I'm Tate Mickelson with the Rockbridge Report.
The show will go on at Lexington's Lime Kiln Theater, even in the rain. Reporter Ellie Cosgrove tells us about the changes taking place at the venue over the next several months.
Rain will no longer stop the party at Lime Kiln Theater. Executive Director Spencer McElroy says upcoming renovations to the live music venue will bring all events on site, even with inclement weather.
We used Washington and Lee's facilities, Lenfest and the Pavilion, for rain locations.
Lime Kiln's upgrades include 2 parts. The first
is to bring this second venue live, and this is called the Kiln. It's actually the original venue on site.
And the second?
Also building a retractable roof covering over our main stage.
The retractable cover will not take away from the stage's outdoor charm. Local musician Burr Datz has performed at Lime Kiln and says the open air adds excitement to the venue.
You can literally sit under the stars and watch the bats fly around and eat the bugs that are retracted because of the lights.
McElroy says he expects the projects to cost $120,000. A capital campaign Lime Kiln completed in February is covering the costs.
Our goal was to raise about 60 grand in donations, and we would fund the other 60 grand to get to 120 with our own cash reserves in our capital fund and grants.
Many in the area donated. Local musician David Aiken works at Rockbridge Music. He says the support is important to the music community.
Different styles of music and just exposing people and bringing people together as a community is important. You have a venue, rain or shine. I think that helps a lot in drawing people out.
Just last week, Lime Kiln Theater also received a $7,000 grant from the Virginia Tourism Corporation. Now, this is the largest grant that the theater has ever received, and McElroy says it's going to go towards things such as staging, production, and tenting improvements. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Ellie Cosgrove.
Next week, Lime Kiln Theater is announcing its entertainment lineup for the upcoming season on its website.
In Buena Vista this weekend, a nonprofit agency will offer a free local healthcare clinic at Southern Virginia University. Residents don't need to provide identification or proof of insurance to get dental, vision, and general medical care. Tickets to receive services will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis starting at 3 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Healthcare professionals will begin seeing patients at 6 a.m. both days. Remote Area Medical provides these free mobile clinics in underserved communities across the country.
U.S. Forest Service Chief Tony Took has stepped down just days after revelations that he was under investigation. He's been accused of sexual misconduct and rampant misbehavior, including rape, within the agency's ranks. A Forest Service spokesman on Thursday confirmed Took's sudden retirement. Took resigned less than 7 months after he was named to the post by Agricultural Secretary Sonny Perdue.
President Donald Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, has pleaded not guilty to charges including tax evasion and bank fraud. Manafort did not speak during the Thursday arraignment at Northern Virginia courthouse. A trial date of July 10th has been set, 4 months earlier than the defense had wanted. The charges are part of a special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian efforts to influence U.S. elections. When we come back, Keenan will tell us which Virginia basketball teams are poised to dance this March, and what discovery may have just ended a decade-long mystery.
A redhead? Staring contest? You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you!
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand!
Ah, there you go. Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Zane!
March Madness is in full swing, and Washington and Lee's lacrosse season is heating up. Keenan is here with your sports update.
Thanks, Allie. WNL's 10th-ranked women's lacrosse team beat Christopher Newport University 11-4 yesterday. It was a much-needed win for the team, which moved to 2-3 on the season. They return to action Sunday afternoon with their biggest test of the year so far, hosting #1 Gettysburg. Men's lacrosse defeated Mary Washington 14-7 in Fredericksburg yesterday to boost their record to 3-3. The Generals were led by a career-high 5 goals from senior attackman Sam Dardany. They'll get back on the field Saturday at home against Shenandoah to open ODAC play. Both men's and women's golf competed in the Callaway Gardens Intercollegiate this week. The 9th-ranked men shot .296, good for 8 over par, and finished in 6th place, while the 11th-ranked women shot .303, 11 over par, and finished in 3rd. Both squads next hit the links a week from Friday in the Jekyll Island Invitational in Jekyll Island, Georgia. March is in full swing, and that means tournament time for college basketball teams across the country. The ACC tournament enters its quarterfinals today at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Virginia Tech looked like a near lock to be among those top 8 teams yesterday during their second-round game against Notre Dame, leading by as much as 21 in the first half. The Hokies ultimately went on to lose the game in a heartbreaking collapse 71-65, the biggest comeback in Notre Dame basketball history. But with multiple wins over top 10 teams this season, VT is all but guaranteed to make this month's NCAA tournament. One team that's actually guaranteed to make the tourney is Virginia. The Cavaliers are the top-ranked team in the country and should receive a #1 seed when the selection show takes place this Sunday. Elsewhere, Radford is headed to the tournament for the first time in 9 seasons. Big South Rookie of the Year Carlick Jones hit a buzzer-beating 3 in the Big South Championship game to elevate the Highlanders to a 55-52 win over Liberty and secure an automatic bid to the Big Dance. That's it for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Keenan. People around the world are marking International Women's Day today, with protesters across Europe and Asia advocating for women's rights. Women in France had a reason to celebrate this week, with leaders announcing fines for companies' gender pay gaps.
McDonald's is also participating in the Day of Female Empowerment. CNN's Kara Finstrom reports on what's up, or upside down, with some golden arches.
We came here to take a picture with the W.
This morning, McDonald's intentionally flipped its iconic golden arches. The W, a tribute to women who aren't afraid to shake things up.
My mom told me that it was for the women's rights.
Fries and drinks are being served up with the W at certain restaurants nationwide. And in Linwood, the company specially made one giant W to hoist high.
Good morning.
Inside, the woman at the helm can't help but inspire.
Quit my job, and it took just about everything I had to buy my first restaurant.
This video is now airing online. 30 years ago, Patricia Williams was a single mom with 2 young girls when she made her mark in the restaurant business.
The guy just told me, well, bring your husband in, and then we can think about, loaning you the money for the franchise. I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Williams kept asking and found another bank willing to give her that loan.
I was set on changing everyone's mind.
Now, 30 years later, she owns 18 McDonald's. Her 2 grown daughters run them with her.
It's about making sure that we display excellence and do the work every day.
Patricia Williams says she was first inspired by her mom, who worked as a maid in the segregated South and wanted more for her family.
She comes from such humble roots, and she's built an empire.
Now her daughters say Williams' true legacy will be in the opportunities she's given to so many others.
Started with me as a person, yes.
And the unwavering strength she shows everyone every day.
I've always known that she was amazing.
That's all for our broadcast today. Thanks for watching. You can stay up to date on the news by following along on our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Have a good evening.